Good morning. Welcome back to the pharmacy for the first time in 2026. Today is going to be something a little bit different. This is not just a vlog of me in community pharmacy. This is also, I'm actually working with one of our recent pharmacist graduates. So he's just completed his internship, he's received his registration, and now he's finally been working as a fully fledged pharmacist for a couple of months, probably about a month now actually. So yeah, I'm going to be working with him today, so I figured why not get him in it and get him to explain like what the process was like with registering as a pharmacist, also what it's like, I guess, that transition between intern to pharmacist. Instead of it just being me in the pharmacy doing my things, I've also going to get him in and we can have a chat about those. So it's definitely better coming from him than from me, because obviously, you know, he's the one genuinely going through it at this very moment. Oh, my tools are doing some weird things this morning. Anyway, at least it's a Sunday. It's a nice, short, sharp shift, and they're usually pretty chill. We actually normally wouldn't have two pharmacists on a Sunday. We would normally just have one and a lot of support staff, like our techs and things like that, your more senior techs. But at the start of a grad's journey, we never really roster them on themselves. We always put them on with another pharmacist for the first 2 to 3 months, so that, I guess, it's just that extra support system that they have. SK, what's up? Yeah, I've got my camera on, but it's all good. So yes, we're going to be working together, which means that I'm going to be giving him a lot of time to be in the dispensary. We normally, as we have pharmacists always on the front floor, and we try to spend as little time in the dispensary as possible. But basically, there's this computer here and one just in front of us. I'm going to get him to station himself here. He can just walk back and forth, so that he can check scripts, just to get him, again, more confident and as exposed to as many scripts as possible for checking, so that over the time when he's the only one on and he's got a tricky situation, he will be feeling good and comfortable and confident to be able to do it himself, which he already can do it himself anyway, but it's more just when you get in those sticky situations, you don't feel like you're completely out of your depth and freaking out. You actually have the confidence to be able to do it without second guessing yourself, because it's usually you can do it. It's just you think you can't do it. It's actually you that is your own head and being in your head that gets us and is the hardest part and made it harder than it needs to be. That, my friends, is something that I spoke about a lot in my NAPSA presentation. You will have seen the video that's up of that presentation, or if you were there, then you would know all about that. Next couple of hours spending in community pharmacy. It's January, so it's pretty hot outside. So the main things that are really floating through at the moment are just your everyday scripts. A lot of the GPs are away on holiday at the moment, so it is a lot of things where it's just people's regular medications, whether that's for chronic disease or, I guess, lighter acute instances, a bit of wound care, burns, things like that, lots of bug bites, that kind of thing. And then also your really random crazy things that happen as well. But yeah, so that's going to be our day. Let's see how it goes. Do you, just by the off chance, have any made bottles that are made of the glass?
Yeah, I did. I was gonna definitely.
Like, I
It's
think
so
we
much
can
to the point that like everyone.
Who have you got down there with you at the moment? Misha. No, I won't be able to see the front camera.
Where'd you make the emoji from?
Ash's mum made it.
Really?
Yeah, because she's a graphic designer. You get 2 mics.
2 months.
2 mics.
What's that?
2 different cameras.
Oh,
How was the transition?
intern to pharmacist.
Intern to pharmacist.
Well, I would say the first week is pretty hectic because you're like, oh,
Yeah.
like all these things at once.
Yeah.
So the first script that you check is like, you get your nerve, it gets your nerve, like,
Yeah.
you get nervous. I'm like, okay, you're taking that, Munjaro, 2.5, you're doing it so much.
Yeah.
But then I think once you realize that now you know your stuff and you pick up errors here and there,
Yeah.
increases your confidence. So after 1 week, I was pretty like, yeah, damn,
Yeah,
yeah,
you were ready.
yeah, I was ready, yeah,
You're
yeah.
good, you're good.
I think after my first shift, I was like, nah, I know my stuff definitely.
Yeah.
It's the confidence, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is there anything in particular that you've learned?
I think switching to that leadership mentality
Yeah.
is because
that's a
as
good
an
point.
intern, you're not taking the final decision, or you're not caring about did people turn up for your roster, or
Yes.
is the other juniors doing their work, are they doing their stuff, is the stocks been put out? So yeah, transitioning from me putting the stock out
Yes.
to me thinking that, okay, did the stock come, did the fridge come, did the orders been, did we call the patients, did we message them,
Yeah.
are the stocks coming in,
Yeah.
are people doing their work? It's
Yes.
that leadership mentality, and then thinking about all these things at the same time, but also managing all my staff in a better way too. Like, I think that's takes learning too. So understanding really how to get people to work with you
Yeah.
is like a very important thing which I've learned. Yeah, definitely. I'm learning too.
Good job.
Yeah.
Well done. That's all I wanted to ask you.
Yeah,
That
cool.
was great responses.
Yeah, and this is the real life
you can chat
stuff.
to the camera. You're like you're natural. Well, now that the pharmacy is closed, I need to get a couple of things from the shops. I'm gonna have some lunch before we keep working. I like to use my short days as days to catch up on extra admin and work and filming as well. That's a particularly good day for filming, so
Nice YouTube video.
thank you.
What do
You want to be in it?
Yeah. Carta, 6, 7.
Well, I got my shopping. Spring onions and toilet paper. Love. Yeah. What I was saying before I was so graciously interrupted by a very enthusiastic bunch of boys was that I like to use my short shifts as days to catch up on a lot of filming and social media stuff. It's quite good now because I'm trying to, that's the other thing that I've really set an intention for this year, is just trying to allow or manage my time so that I can also have a bit more freedom and flexibility from just normal things in life, because I like to really, or I have the tendency to go all the time, and I'm just trying to be more intentional, more mindful with how crammed my time is. And I guess it's sort of now getting to a point where I can do all of this stuff and also generate extra income, I guess, without having to work extra days, which means working through weekends, so very grateful for that's how it's eventuating. Yeah, where did I put my bag? I forgot to put my lunch in the fridge today, but luckily it's not too, here we go. Not too crazy today, or not too hot today that it'll have gone bad. So cute. So we've just finished scheduling a few bits and pieces of content, so that way don't have to think about that, worry about that for the next couple of days. In the 5 hours that we were working here this morning, I actually had a few quite big interventions that needed to be made that took up a little bit of time, so it was actually really good that I had SK here with me today, because I needed to talk with these patients for a bit and run through some stuff, so that was really handy. So firstly, the first intervention was I had someone come in. They were looking for pain relief for a headache, but upon further questioning we figured out that they're actually on lithium currently. Now we all know, as soon as we hear lithium, big red flags, very scary, don't like that, lots to think about. So yeah, I just did a little bit of deeper digging. Turns out the headache was because, well, they felt it was due to a lot of caffeine consumption. Then we're also thinking about the clearance of the lithium. So had a quick look. Fortunately, caffeine in high amounts, and coffee in particular, maybe it's because of, I don't know, it would be the caffeine and the, you can see me thinking out loud. I'm not sure if it's like the milk component, but I don't think it is. I don't think it's the milk that's the issue with the clearance of lithium. It's the actual caffeine and the impact on electrolytes and dehydration, because it can diuresis. Yeah, that makes sense. Sorry, just had to like mentally process that. Yes, so then fortunately it increases the clearance of lithium, so I wasn't worried about lithium accumulation, which is great. Person already had a water bottle, got them to drink heaps of water just to rehydrate everything again, ran through, you know, the impact of high caffeine consumption. They're obviously not feeling great from it, so probably not something that they should do again. Then what was the next big thing? The next big thing, we head into a consult room. It was for emergency contraception. I'm just somebody where I typically, I just like personally pulling everyone into the consult room for that. As soon as somebody comes in asking for it, I'm like, yeah, sure, let's go into the room. Just makes it easier. So rather than making it difficult, being like, do you want to do it here? Do you want to do it over there? I'm just like, cool, let's have a chat. We'll head into the room. Let's go now. And most people are pretty, like most patients are pretty appreciative of that. So that's just like my personal practice on how I do that. It was pretty easy case actually, but we ran through a bit more about regular hormonal options, because it was something that they were thinking about, but they were a little bit concerned of side effects or just having additional hormones in general. So I just ran through a couple of bits of information about the different types and the pros and cons, just so that they're educated on it, not sort of, you know, wanting them to go down that path, but literally just being like, this is all the information so that you can best figure out what you might like, and then you can talk to your GP about that. So we ended up having a chat about that for quite a while, which was good. I do enjoy those kinds of women's health conversations because it is daunting. Like, there's a 50 million options for us on the market at the moment. So yeah, it can get a bit hectic or a bit confusing. The next issue happened in this room that we were already in. It was a urinary tract infection consult. So pharmacists in WA can prescribe antibiotics for women who present with certain symptoms. They have to be a certain age bracket, and they basically can't have any reason to refer them for us to be able to prescribe it for them. The interesting thing that I don't know about Queensland, but it's quite specific to WA at least, is that in WA, different regions, because again, our state is so massive, so different regions have different resistant patterns, which means that in some parts of WA you can prescribe certain antibiotics, in some parts you can't. So in the Pilbara and in the Kimberley, we are only allowed to prescribe nitrofurantoin. We can't do trimethoprim at all. I think you can in Perth, from memory. Yes, and we can't, nobody in WA can do cefalexin because the resistance is too high. But yeah, that's just some things to note, where if you're in different parts of the same state, our prescribing rules are different. And it's particularly applicable, obviously, that the prescribing rules are different in the rural areas, because that's just something to keep an eye out for, be mindful of, that practice is different between different regions. Nowhere is the same. Nowhere is the same. It was never going to be easy for us. You know, there always has to be something. Anyway, so those were my 3 big things. Oh yes, that was another thing that I wanted to mention. SK and I were talking earlier about, we were just discussing, you know, things that could be improved on for our intern training program. So this is not an ITP program that I'm referring to. It's just a training schedule that we have for our interns in-house in the Pilbara teams. So it sort of helps guide them and their preceptors on different things that they should be running over and covering at different points of the year. I'm going to pull it up for you so that you can see what I'm talking about. Because last year was the first year that we had anything specifically formulated, and so I've been tasked with reviewing it again. Yeah, I guess top tip, theme of this video is that if you've got other people who can give you more information or have better opinions on it or more recent experience, like chat to them and get the information off them. Don't just like rely on yourself. So I've emailed the preceptors from last year and the interns from last year who are now grads to be like, what is your generalized feedback on this? Like, what worked, what didn't work? That is what I will base my adjustments off. Also, something to note, guys, is I've just noticed recently that my feet have been getting really sore at work. I'm a Nine West girl. I always recommend Nine West for work shoes, and I absolutely love them. I've bought them many years in a row. My current shoes, they're a bit old, like they need replacing, and so they're a bit loose and it's not as supportive as I need it. So I've just noticed lately that my feet have been getting sore. But I'm willing to try something different. Not only have I been buying the same brand, I've actually just been getting the exact same pair, and I want to shake it up a little bit. So looking for some really good brand recommendations for work shoes that are appropriate to wear as a pharmacist who's on her feet all day and who runs around everywhere. And remember, I have short little legs. Like, I'm not just walking around, I'm like literally having to move it to get anywhere. Oh yeah, I was getting up that program. This is what I'm talking about. It's just like, initially we have it as a table for different scenarios, different study topics. And the idea is that the preceptors will go through that stuff, I guess, every week. And then we sort of figured, you know what, that's not realistic. You don't necessarily have the time to do that during work at all times, and there's quite a lot of information there, and I feel that a lot of stuff can actually be pulled out because you learn on the go, and also everybody has their own study process and how they like to, when they like to learn or study different things. Yeah, gonna see what comes of that. Keep you updated. Anyway, I think that is going to be me signing off for the day, because I've decided that I've got a fair amount done and I don't want to keep going. I actually want to call my best friend. That is something that's very important for anybody looking to go rural. You've got to keep in touch with your friends, and you have to schedule it, because as we know, when you become an adult life hits, you can't just rely on people staying in contact all the time. I literally schedule in and preemptively think about what day for this person and when, so that it happens. If I don't have it in my calendar, it will not happen. Anyway, I'm going to go chat with her. She's also a pharmacist, by the way. We met in my intern year. She was one of my pharmacist supervisors when I was working in the Kimberley. We basically lived together, and here we are all these years later, still best friends. So that's another really beautiful part about being a rural pharmacist, is the people that you will meet. Anyway, I don't know what the next vlog or YouTube video will be. Actually, no, I kind of do. I kind of do. We are bringing a lot more to YouTube this year, and we are bringing really good educational and study materials. That is the vibe or the clue. Yeah, it may not be the next video that I upload, but it will be the next video that I film specifically for YouTube. I'll leave you with that. Have a wonderful week, and I will catch you next time.